Good morning. I'd like to call this 2025 annual meeting of the United Church of Christ in Honeoye to order. I invite Pastor Ken to open for us.
Psalm 48. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in his holy mountain, beautiful in elevation, the joy of all the earth, Mount Zion in the far north, the city of the great King. And greatly to be praised is God in Honeoye United Church of Christ, in our worship, in our fellowship, in our service, and in this annual general meeting. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. You should all have in front of you, or at least it was available, the minutes from our last annual meeting in January of 2024. Hopefully you've been able to speed read through them. And if you want a few minutes, we can leave time for that. Any comments about the minutes? If not, I'll ask for a motion for approval. David Makepeace, and a second. Jeff Brown. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Passes. I apologize, I did not print off the agenda, but it's up here. Are there any additions or corrections? And I can move that up so you can see the whole thing, if you'd like. Additions. Okay. Then we'll move on to our. That doesn't need to be approved. Kathy is my parliamentarian, so she serves that purpose at our council meetings, and I put her into service here too. So, Nancy, with a financial or a treasury report.
Morning, everyone. So we're going to be looking at this worksheet. This has general operating account. This is a summary for income and expenses for the year compared to budget. So the overall impact of our income and expenses for 2024 resulted in $2,378 in net income. We were below our expenses by almost $50,000 due to the $42,000 in salaries that weren't utilized and $3,000 in other expenses that were not that were budgeted but not used for education and ministry. So currently we have our savings account that has monies designated for specific ministries that we have had allotted the funds towards. We have like $39,000 in prepaid pledges. I can never say that. That is just in sitting there waiting for use. Currently, if you turn the page, our Pioneer account was approved for sabbatical costs in 2023, but at the time we had enough cash flow that it was not necessary to utilize, so those funds are available. Furthermore, our endowments did really well this year. We started with $536,000. We took our 5% draw, and at the end of the year, we're at $556,000. And capital improvements is used by the trustees for work done on the parsonage and the grounds here at the church. They utilized all of their funds and have a balance of $500. Additionally, the other thing that I provide is our actual line-by-line budget to actual for our profit and loss for the year. This is divided up by boards, so if you look through it, then you can see where we overspent or underspent. A negative is under budget, a positive is over budget. So for the most part, we were under budget for most every area for the year. So that's why our budget, that's how we got through the year with having such of a faith factor for going into 2024. Does anyone have any questions? You can always reach out and ask. It's kind of detailed, but it's specifically by board, so you should have had some of this information throughout the year. Okay, thank you.
Did you do the endowment?
I did.
You did? Oh, well then don't leave.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, no, I did the endowment.
Okay, sorry, trying to follow. So before Nancy steps down, we have a joy and some sadness. The joy and celebration is that Nancy has been our treasurer for 14 years.
Oh, of course, I'm only 30.
Yeah. And it's with very much understanding, but also sadness that she is stepping down. However, she has allowed us the opportunity to find a replacement, which she will train before she does. Mm-hmm. Now, I thought about listing all of the things that Nancy does, because it's not just keeping the books. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But I don't really want to scare off any potential volunteers. So just know that it's been a joy to work with you. The historical information that she brings and what she keeps in her mind is just been fabulous. So these are for you.
Thank you so much.
And when she officially steps down and a replacement, will do a larger celebration during coffee hour. But
thank you.
Thank you very much. And she's never afraid to correct me or anybody in the meeting. So that's a wonderful thing. Benevolence, unfortunately, Solon and Donna spent the night in Charlotte last night on their way back from vacation because of the weather, so they won't be home until later this afternoon. So his report is in here, and the main thing he wanted to, that he would have said if he was here other than going through the numbers, is that we have money in our benevolence account that doesn't get spent every year, that's available to help those in need in not only our congregation but in our community. So please keep that in mind. If there's folks that you know that need some help, some of the things that they've done in the past, someone relied on their vehicle very much for work. She got behind in her insurance payment, so we covered that for one quarter. We've put in ramps before. Someone had a disability and they needed a ramp put in. So we've done a lot of different things, so please keep that in mind, that money is available, that we have to help. Marilyn.
I'm financial secretary, and someone asked me to define my position. And what I said was, I put the money into the bank, Nancy takes the money out of the bank. And that's bottom line. I handle all the pledges. I had envelopes this morning and have more in my purse if somebody wants some. My report did not get into the printed literature, but I do have a end of the year financial secretary report that members of the church council have received, and I certainly can email to anyone who is interested. What I am going to do, if you've, in all the time we had to read every report, read last year's minutes, I really just want to highlight some of the things that are already written there. One of the most important things is what you see in the plate is not all that is given and that is pledged. There are many people who give electronically. There are people who put their check in the mail. There are people who pay once a month or quarterly or just once a year. So as we bless and thank what's in the plate each Sunday, I always imagine the bigger picture of other donations that have been given. There are also people who pledge time and talent instead of a financial pledge, and that is equally financially beneficial to the church. All that I handle is confidential, so that my reports have general numbers of how many people have pledged and how many people have donated but not given, not made a pledge for a certain amount. Please contact me if you have any questions, if I can help you. Sometimes people ask also, your pledge is between you and God. I will not come after you if you have not pledged, which I understand from Solon, who knew from his uncle, that's what they used to do many, many years ago. If you did not pledge, someone would come bang on your door and ask you to. It's all personal decision, and there have been times where people have been unable to complete their pledges. Totally confidential, totally up to you. So any questions or concerns, come talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Stewardship, Wendy.
Really short report. The figures are in my written report. I'm not going to go over them with you. The bottom line is that the congregation has lost a number of members again this year through death and moves, yet we continue to meet our goal of staying within our means by rental income, fundraisers, being frugal with our actual spending, and the generosity of many who give and donate of their time and talents in areas that then help us not have to spend money to provide those services. Any questions? Thank you.
As with Wendy, the report is in your literature. We received a number of donations. I'm doing the Memorial Committee report, sorry. Yeah, we received a number of donations in honor of the members who we lost through death this year, and we are looking for ways to use that money. So if anybody has any ideas on how to honor those members, please let me know. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. While the reports were brief, they do a tremendous amount of work throughout the year keeping track of all this, so I want to thank you all for what you do to make this work. So with that, I will take entertain a motion to accept the financial reports. Kate? Second? Nancy? All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Same sign? Okay. The only old business we have is last year actually probably 18 months ago, tasked Kathy Kimber and a team to look at our Constitution and our board structure to make recommendations on how to make that more efficient. That work she reported on, and then David Makepeace took up the helm to get down to the nitty-gritty and had a team that worked and met monthly to do this, and it was a fair amount of work to go through that line by line and try to make sense of it. A constitution that Solon, he's our historian if you haven't figured that out by now, was probably 30 years before the last time it was significantly changed. During this time, we have embarked on a discernment process within our congregation, and so that work has been put on hold or on pause. What they have done will certainly be valuable, but right now, until we work through this discernment process and have a clearer path of our direction, felt it made sense to put that on pause. New business, Karen with the slate of officers. Karen's also our note taker, or actually our clerk. We've been operating on the last, 3 years, or 2 years anyhow, without a clerk. Karen retired, and guess what? She took that on.
Okay, so in the annual report packet that you have, there, somewhere, oh, it's the last page, is the officer and board nominations. So, I mean, the whole nominating process and the expected structure of our boards and officers is from that Constitution that's being revised, because as you can see, there are a lot of spaces, and all the lines are blank spaces, and there are a lot of people that are on here 2 or 3 times. Our congregation's smaller, our congregation's aging, and there are lots of people who did their time, and they're at a place in their life where they just don't feel the need to be on a committee, and I don't blame them. People have done their time, but I would like to implore people to look in their hearts, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir right now because most of you are on here, but we have lots of spaces. But again, looking at it too, probably things are going to be restructured. So you can see the list. There are some changes here. Treasurer, that can be a blank. You can unfortunately cross Nancy's name out, but we understand and appreciate everything she did. She did her time, but we need a treasurer. So that's a blank line. For under auditors, Joan Homan is going to replace Margaret White, so you can change that. And we don't know about it. I know. I just when I did this slate, I just looked at last year's and rolled things over. So we don't have a nominating person. See that wherever it is. The nominating, it's on the second page. The nominating committee. The chair is the person that coordinates this. So that would be, like, if you want to get to know people and you are like somebody who likes to just organize things, it's a great thing to do. So this is what we have. Under Board of Trustees, Al Byerly is not on trustees. You can cross him off. Under Deacons, Bob Bacon is leaving Deacons, but Bob Stowe is joining Deacons, and he would be class of 2028. That would be his first term. And John Jakuziak is joining Deacons, and he also will be class of 2028 first term. And I think that's all the changes that I have been, if you have a change, just let me know. So, okay, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Sally Smith. Sally Smith is joining the Memorial Committee. Yay, Sally. Any other changes? So that is our slate of officers and boards as we have right now. Any other questions? So we have to vote on it. Do I have,
One ballot, is that how it's said?
yeah. We just need someone to move that we accept it and someone to second it. Okay. Wendy seconded it. Okay. Marilyn, okay. Okay. All in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Same sign? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I know you said the Bills game was not an incentive to get done, but we're working on it for you. What's who? Yes.
I just also wanted to note that Donna Barnard is stepping down as co-chair of the Board of Deacons. Gwen, bless you, is remaining now as chair, but both of them did a tremendous amount of work over the past years and got our, really worked hard to fill in some gaps after our church was struggling with COVID. And I just wanted to, acknowledge Donna's really hard work and a great job chairing the Board of Deacons during that time.
Thanks, Ken. Budget. Kate.
Hello, I am Kate. I am your budget officer. And the budget can be found on the second and third pages of the general operating account printout that Nancy introduced. This budget was put together with the numbers that were given to me by all the committees and boards, and we looked at it at a couple different council meetings to see if we were comfortable with it. There's some notable differences. We have a pretty large decrease in our expected health insurance expenses, and also we will not be having to foot the bill for sabbatical this year. Last year's minutes said that we had goals to fill some unfilled positions. We've filled one of those, and with the Christian Ed director. And then the second one that we hope to fill this year is the web presence coordinator, to get that up and running. Other than that, most increases were just due to expected and known increases with bills. Our expected total expense is down from last year, so that's nice. And then the very last page shows what we're expecting for income, and then the differences between what we expect budget-wise and what our faith factor is expected to be this year. Does anyone have any questions? I see no questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kate. It's a struggle, for stewardship because they don't have any control over the budget. All they can do is to get after the boards and committees to turn their numbers in. So that's not always an easy task. So thank you guys and gals for what you do. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to pass the 2025 budget. Wendy, Kathy, second. With that, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Unanimous. Thank you. Now we move into the reports. Most of these reports are in your packet, and so those that submitted them have an opportunity to maybe highlight some things in their reports. So starting with the pastor.
Pastor report. I wrote it. Please read it.
I didn't realize you were a football fan, Ken. Okay. Trustees.
Morning, everyone. Just a few, I'm not going to go through this. It's in the report. You can read it if you have any questions. You can see me. Just a couple of the big things where the capital improvement money went towards this year is we had the parsonage roof and the educational wing hallway. We did have unplanned expenses like we always do, one which was the furnace that Ken and Marcia are well aware of at the parsonage. We had to get that replaced. Yep. And that's all. Anybody have any questions, you can see me after or send me an email. Go Bills.
Thank you, Jim. Deacons. Is anybody here to represent the... Oh, good. Thank you, Glenn. Sorry, I knew you were here. I don't know why I said that.
So nothing major, everything's in the report, but I just wanted to echo Ken's thanks to Donna and Bob. I also wanted to say thank you to Nancy for 49 years of music, and Alex continues to volunteer his time to direct the choir and also bell choir. I don't see them here. I was looking at you, Nancy. You're looking like you can't hear me. Sorry. But special thanks to Donna. She's been a great leader, lots of time and effort behind the scenes. And I am now chair by nobody else helping, stepping up. Come on, somebody might want to. So does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Gwen. Christian Ed Sunday School, Jeff?
In September, I stepped down from the Board of Christian Education as the chair. However, I feel that my transition, as you'll notice, there's only a single member now. A lone member is Andrea McIntosh on that committee. Part of the Constitution Committee was to look at boards across the board, so to speak, in terms of historically, a lot of the board numbers you'll see here anticipate 9 members, 7 members, 12 members. It's a structure that isn't sustainable in the current environment. So I know that that's going to be looked at. But I guess what I would say about Board of Christian Education is that we have hired Sydney Badger as our Sunday school director, and she's doing a fantastic job with very dedicated teachers. And essentially now at this point, Ken is awesome in terms of bringing other resources outside our immediate congregation and a lot of the adult learning experiences that he gives us and that he shares online to even a broader audience. So I feel like it's in the hands of the professionals at this point, but it really does deserve more attention and somebody who has the energy to really facilitate. I would characterize that as the primary role of the chair of Christian education, is just to kind of keep the ball rolling. Essentially, I felt in a lot of ways like my role was as the note taker and the kind of projecting what we're going to do next and that sort of thing. But I think we have staff that's doing a terrific job. More kids in Sunday school today than we've seen in quite a while, and that's very encouraging.
Thank you, Jeff. Community life. Karen.
The report is in your bulletin of what we did. The only thing I'd like to say is I really appreciate how willing so many members of the congregation are to help. I never clean up alone when it's my Sunday to do coffee hour, and it really is heartwarming to see how people really are willing to jump in and help, and how important coffee hour is to everyone. So go Bills.
Thank you, Karen. The Genesee Valley Association report, Karen and I represent our congregation, and so we go to, there's 2 main meetings, the spring and the fall assembly, 3, and then the annual meeting, and Andrea McIntosh has attended those with us as well. So the GVA is an organization to support local congregations. And so it's been enjoyable for us to be involved, to see people from other congregations and to hear what's going on with them, what has been helpful to them, what's been their challenges, and how we can all relate. So it's the report's in here, but it's a very helpful organization to us. Whenever we have a search and call, for example, they put a lot of resources in to helping us through that process. Earth Care. We've got some committee members here. Unfortunately, Andrea is in Pennsylvania. She's our chair. I don't know if anybody would like to say something that's on the board. Lori's here. There's a short article in the newsletter regarding the denim recycling program, and this is something she enjoys doing. She's got passion about, and that's what she does. And that's the way these boards and committees need to work. Is there's something that you really enjoy doing, and that's all you're expected to do. And do it when you can, and while you can, and while you enjoy it, and then when you don't, you move on to something else or move off. So that's the way it's worked. Earth Care's been involved in a number of things, education-wise. They were, or we were, part of it with the Climate Hope campaign this fall, and so it's one of the more active committees and boards in terms of in the community that we have. So, would anybody like to say anything about that, to add to it? I'm not doing it justice. Okay. Then finally, Ken? Forest Church. Okay.
Again, Andrea's not here at the loss of her mother. Our thoughts are with her, and she does a great job. And we have members of the Forest Church team here this morning, and I just want to say that Forest Church continues to meet monthly, and I think it's delightful. It's a thing that members of our church participate in gatherings, but also people who won't come to Sunday church, that various reasons, building does just not work in their lives, but they are able to connect with each other and with nature and with God in these gatherings, and so it's a lovely thing, and I'm glad it continues. And I want to encourage those of you who are used to worshiping in the building on Sunday mornings, why don't you try something different this year? If you haven't come before, notice the Forest Church gatherings as they're announced, and join us out in the woods and worship there for a change.
Thank you. Any other reports or thoughts or comments? Oh, thank you, Nancy. She told me ahead of time she wanted to do this, and of course,
At least you gave me a chance.
yeah.
I can't run up, I can't hop up.
You can use this one right here if you'd rather, Nance.
Well, I have several people I want to thank. Alex Rubidoux for doing so much for us. Louise Holmes for coordinating all the bell choir stuff. Everybody's been singing in the choir or playing in the bell choir. We love you. And then you better watch out. You better not pout. You better not cry. And I'm going to tell you why. And it isn't because Santa Claus is coming to town. It's because I have a plot for year 19, for my 50th year, to involve some very prominent people in this congregation into the music department. And I won't tell anybody yet.
That's kind of scary. Yeah, that's right. Nancy, thank you. There's nothing that can be said. The direction she provides and the music she brings is just absolutely amazing. And for a congregation our size to have the music program we do, we're extremely blessed. So thank you very much. Anybody else I've forgotten? Okay. Yep. Bob and John, welcome to the deacons. So.
And John is a new member.
And John's a new member as well. And Linda? Yes. No, not Linda, just John. Okay, sorry. Great. Now, Charlie doesn't have a report, and he probably would never come up here to talk. But what he does for this congregation in terms of IT is just unbelievable. He's a consummate teacher. Now, for those of us, Bill, Badger, and myself, who are constantly learning how to run that room up there, when he's gone, when Charlie's gone, he watches the report. And then he says it's always positive. He might say, I noticed this, but not, you forgot to do this. I mean, he's just a wonderful, wonderful teacher, and not to mention all he does behind the scenes. So, Charlie, we owe you such a round of applause and gratitude for all you do. So, unless there's any other business, who what? Oh, we got to accept all those reports? Oh, okay. See? Thank you, Kathy. I'll entertain a motion to accept all these reports. Nancy and Louise, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Okay. Our next meeting of the council will be the first Monday in February. February and March, we do these via Zoom because of the weather and darkness and so on. So please, all are welcome to the council meetings. So hope to see you there. Our next meeting of discernment, our special congregational meeting, will be February 2nd. Is that right? Yes. Okay. After worship, again, light meal will be provided. So again, all are welcome to participate in that workshop, almost, if you will. Okay. With that, I'll call for adjournment. So moved by John. Seconded by David. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all.